I took a trip last night into a land outside. There were people half dead. There were people no kids. Where was I? Where was I? Spokesville, unknown. Yeah, I met a man, the ruler. He wasn't ugly, he'd ruler. He had witches for wives. He made pets of flies. He is a beast. I'll be his feast. Spokesville, unknown. Yeah, there was spiders hanging from skeletons. There was music to keep your hair on it. It was just like one big old herd.
A wicked place with an evil curse on wood.
I saw blues for riding. I saw coffin for hiding. There was dancing on hot coals. There was laughter on head pools. Listen, my friend, this is the end. Spooksville, unknown. Yes, Spooksville, 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 unknown. There were spiders hanging from skeletons. There was music to keep your hair on it. It was just like one big old herd.
A wicked place with an evil curse on wood.
I saw blues for riding. I saw coffin for hiding. There was dancing on hot coals. There was laughter on hidden pools. Listen, my friend, this is the end. Spokesville, unknown. Yeah, Spokesville, Spokesville, Spokesville,
It begins here, in the Elite Bar and Grill, with a wedding party. There's not one thing that sets Sally and Matt Conroy apart from all the other couples who were married today in the United States. Not a thing. Not yet.
Hey, when are we gonna get out of here?
Come on, baby. How about that Georgie boy, eh, Matt? He hasn't had that much exercise since he dumped that load of grapefruit up on the Ridge Road. Hey, looks like that little gal of yours could keep on dancing all night, Matt.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Sorry, baby. When I get going, I get carried away.
Hey, why don't you take it easy, you big lug? You all right, Sal?
Oh, I think so.
Let's try it again. I was just getting warmed up. Hey, back in the stag line, Georgie boy. You've had it. My turn to dance with the bride.
Oh, I'd just love to dance with all you gentlemen again.
Yeah, but they won't hold our room after 9 if we don't get there.
Oh, that'd be a shame.
Oh, we want to thank you for the party, fellas.
Just one last round for the road on me. Hey, Tommy. Say, how'd Conroy ever find you down among those bayous, honey?
Well, he transported my cousin's belongings when she moved back home a couple months ago. And, well, one thing led to another. Here I am.
How do you like it?
Oh, I love it. I've never been northeast or west of Louisiana before in my entire life.
Well, no one would know it in the way you talk, honey child.
Come on, Sal, let's get going. Well, thanks again for the party, fellas.
Say, Matt, don't we get a chance to kiss the bride? Yeah!
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, what were you dreaming about?
I don't know. Why?
Well, you were making all sorts of funny faces, funny noises.
Did I look awful?
You couldn't look awful if you tried. course, you look a lot better when you're smiling.
How much further is it?
Why?
You're gonna be so tired from all this driving. I mean, I sure wish I knew how to drive so I could help you.
You're just gonna have to learn, that's all. Nutty for somebody to live in California and not know how to drive a car. What's the matter?
Huh?
What's the matter?
I don't know, nothing.
Those crazy guys down at Tommy's, you sure knocked them for a loop. I guess you know that. Of course, you kind of knocked me for a loop, too. I tell you, I'm sure glad your cousin decided to go back to Louisiana and call NorCal Van and Storage.
Matt, if we turn left about a mile ahead, it's a prettier drive.
How'd you know that?
It's beautiful and wild and secluded. There's a hill straight ahead, just past those pines. Go up the hill.
Well, how in the world did you know?
Never mind, never mind. That's it. Eagle Point's just ahead.
Eagle Point?
Turn right. Be careful. There's a fallen tree across the road.
Hey, wait for me! Sally. Sally, what's the matter with you? Sally, what in the world's the matter with you?
Who are you?
Oh, come on, Sally, stop kidding.
Will you please take your hands off me?
Sally? Sally! I don't know. Her voice sounded so different. She looked so different. I don't know.
Well, there aren't many roads through here. Shouldn't take us long to find her.
Now, how would she know about a place like this? She's never been up here before in her life, I'm sure of it. Why would she kid me about driving a car? She looks so different.
Now, that's mighty strange. What are the lights doing on in the Wharton place? Is that your car?
Yeah. Wonder what Sally's doing here.
Beats me, mister.
Who lives here?
Nobody now.
Well, how come the electricity's still on?
The estate hasn't been settled yet. The girl who used to live here jumped from a place called Eagle Point a couple of weeks ago.
Eagle Point.
And it gives me the creeps, a nice girl like that committing suicide. What a mess. Had to make identification from dental records and stuff like that.
No! No! No.
What are you trying to do? Scare me to death?
I didn't.
You know what I ought to do, you silly dame? I ought to belt you
I
one.
didn't kill myself.
Sally!
I didn't
Sally!
jump. I didn't jump. I was
Sally!
murdered. I was murdered. I was murdered. I was
Sally!
murdered.
Sally. Sally. How much longer is this going to go on?
Is what going to go on, Mr. Conroy?
Every time she wakes up, it's another sedative, another shot. Is that the only thing you can do for her? Keep her asleep?
Yes, Mr. Conroy.
It's been 24 hours. Look, I could feed her sleeping pills myself.
Mr. Conroy, your wife was quite violent when you brought her in here, quite incoherent. Every time she wakes up, she tries to run away. Now, how would you suggest that we restrain her? Would you prefer a straitjacket?
You haven't even told me what's wrong with her. Well, what's wrong with her?
I don't know.
Well, when will you know?
Do you see that library? Every mental and emotional disturbance known to medicine is described somewhere in these books. Your wife's case is not among them.
Well, then I'll just have to go to some other hospital where there'll be somebody who can help her.
That's your privilege, Mr. Conroy. I don't think it will solve anything. I'm going to be quite frank with you. That young woman you brought in here is not
That
going to
young
be...
woman? What do you mean, that young woman? She's my wife. She's not just
Your wife? Does this sound like your wife?
Alex, I've told you there's no time. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you keeping me here?
To try to make you well, Mrs. Conroy.
Why do you keep calling me that?
Because that's your name.
My name is Karen. You know that. Alex, please, why won't you help me?
I'm trying to help you, Mrs. Conroy. There is no Karen Wharton. Karen Wharton is dead. Karen Wharton committed suicide.
No! No! I was murdered! You must believe me! I was
Please.
murdered! I was murdered! Alex, please, Alex, there isn't any
Quickly,
time.
nurse.
Why won't you help me?
Quickly,
please,
nurse.
please, please. Alex, listen to me. Listen to me. I'll be calm. I promise. Please, Alex, I'll be calm. I'll be calm. My name is Karen Wharton. I was born in Fort Washakie, Wyoming, on February 10th, 1935. My mother's name is Mary Louise. My father, Philip Joseph Wharton, died of pneumonia on April 12th, 1939. Your wife, Ellen, drowned at the 4th of July picnic in 1941 at Lake Etna. And 4 years ago at the Harvest Moon Ball at the Country Club, you asked me to marry you, Alex.
Never mind, nurse. Who murdered you?
Dan Stapler,
Dan Stapler. Why?
because I wouldn't give him a divorce.
Dan Stapler isn't married.
We were married secretly last year in Mexicali.
Why secretly?
You know why. Mother hated him. And she was right. His passion cooled considerably when he found out that none of Daddy's money was in my name.
Then why didn't you give him a divorce?
Because I loved him. I would have been anything he wanted me to be if he'd only loved me. I can't tell you how mortifying it was. How revolted I was when I saw him at the beach with other women and at parties. I loathed him and I loathed myself because later, when he'd come to me, when he'd touch me,
Regarding your inquiry, Daniel Stapler married to Karen Wharton this city, June the 11th, 1956. Mexicali Hall of Records.
Well, can't there be some sort of explanation? Maybe she read about the death in a newspaper. Well, couldn't it just be a coincidence? Well, what is it? Some sort of psychic hocus pocus or something? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You'd hardly expect a psychiatrist to tell you a thing like that.
Why did he murder you?
Because he found somebody who did have money. That night.
Go on.
It had been weeks since I'd seen him. He dropped by that night without any notice at all. And the famous Stapler charm was in full bloom again. And of course, I fell for it again. Dan always had a divine sense of timing. He told me his real reason for the visit, that he wanted a divorce. While he was making love to me, I told him I'd never divorce him, not ever. And then he behaved like a 6-year-old child having a temper tantrum. He cried out that I cheated him, ruined his life. He stomped his feet, and his voice screeched like a petulant woman. He looked so ridiculous. He suddenly looked so ridiculous that I started to laugh. I suppose it was hysteria more than anything else, but I couldn't stop. He turned very white and came at me. He struck me with his fist. And before I could tell him that, yes, you can have your divorce, he killed me.
How?
It wasn't a pleasant death, Alex. I didn't die quickly. Finally, he crushed my skull with something heavy. And then he took my body to Eagle Point and flung it off the edge to make it appear as suicide. Alex, do you believe me?
How can I, Mrs. Conroy?
But you must! I'm not Mrs. Conroy! He murdered me! I can prove it! I can prove it! Alex, listen to me! I can prove it! I can make you... Let me go! I can make you believe me! Let me go! Listen to me, Alex! No!
Nurse.
No!
What am I gonna do?
What am I going to do? Yes? We'll be right up. Your wife's awake.
Dr. Slauson, let me go in first. Honey, are you feeling better?
Alex, I want to call my mother.
Your mother in Louisiana?
Alex, please, don't start that again. Please let me call my mother.
Why?
Because she'll believe me.
Will she?
Yes.
I think perhaps I'd better call her, don't you? It's going to be an awful shock.
Tell her I want to see her. It's all right if I get dressed, isn't it? I don't want her to see me like this. I must look terrible.
Yes. Get dressed.
You know, Sal, we promised your cousin Diana we were going to wire her right after the ceremony. Only in all the confusion down at Tommy's.
Would you mind leaving so I can get dressed?
Did you call her mother? I mean, Mrs. Wharton.
No. No, I didn't. Mr. Conroy, I'm going to try something drastic. You gave me this a long time ago, remember?
Of course I remember, Alex.
Has there been much change in 5 years?
Five years is a long time. Did you call my mother?
Not yet.
In case you've forgotten, the number's 5211.
I remember.
Will you call her now?
Why don't you rest for a while? I'll take care of it. Miss Peterson?
Hello? Karen. Karen, oh my God. Baby. Baby! Mother, I'm so glad to see you. Alex won't believe me. No one will believe me. They're treating me like I'm insane. Mother, please help me. Tell them who I am. Tell them who I am.
Who are you? Who are you and why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Mrs. Conroy.
Mommy, please.
Here, take these.
When she put her arms around me, it was Karen. I know it was. And it was Karen's voice. Oh. But she is dead, Doctor, isn't she?
Yes, Karen is dead, Mrs. Wharton.
Doctor, Mrs. Conroy's gone.
There she is.
With something heavy. With something heavy.
Well, what now?
We start with this. The police, Dan Stapler.
No, I mean about her.
I don't know about her.
Hi, darling. Matt, is something wrong?
Not now.
No, we got lost for a while, but we're all right now. We're gonna be married a long time, Mrs. Conroy, and it's gonna take me a long time to... Oh, thanks.
There's a nice technical word for what happened to Sally Conroy. It's called possession. That is, the dead temporarily taking over the body of the living. Terrifying? It terrified Dan Stapler into a quick and full confession. There are thousands of cases of possession in the records, many of them fully authenticated by respected scientists. We've seen one. To whom it happened, we know. Where it happened, we know. How or why it happened. Good night.
You better put down one, please. Catherine blocks the
Good evening, friends of the inner sanctum. This is your host to welcome you through the squeaking door. Say, do you ever find that you can't get a certain face out of your mind? Until you do, go out of your mind? Like me and a guy named Joe, for instance. I ran into Joe accidentally the other day over at the city morgue. And Joe's been haunting me ever since. I can't get over the smug way he deadpanned me and then gave me the old cold shoulder routine. I don't want to cry, baby, but I dug down plenty time and again to keep Joe from going under. But no gratitude at all from Joe. Mister, I'm finished with Joe for keeps.
Tonight's Inner Sanctum Mystery, Murder Takes a Honeymoon, was written by John Robert and stars Everett Sloane in the role of George, with Ann Shepard as Mary.
And now for tonight's free lesson in how to improve your scream. Ever get that folksy, woodsy feeling until you're in an absolute frenzy to get away from it all and go native? Well, our honeymooning couple tonight got the urge until they found that living in the country was simply murder. To rhyme it, our twosome found it positively gruesome. Stand by and we'll demonstrate. We're on a milk train somewhere in the east, puffing through the rock and rubble of desolated whistle-stop country. The yellow train lights blink eerily. The hour is sometime between night and morning. One car holds just a young couple. They huddle closely, half asleep, as the train groans into another of its interminable stops.
Ravenwood! Entering Ravenwood! Let's stop Lewiston! Ravenwood!
George, I heard him say Lewiston.
No, Ravenwood. Lewiston's next. Oh, there must be a million of these one-horse towns. What's eating you, Mary? You look like you've just been declared an orphan.
I feel like an orphan, George. Cold. I'm hungry. So far from home.
We're heading home, kid. At the next stop, there's a farm. More land than you can cover in a day, and it's all yours. Wedding gift from me to you.
I'm sorry, but the country's not for me. I'm a big city girl.
Ah, give it a try, huh? Come on, smile.
George, I'm frightened.
Of me?
I don't know. You've suddenly changed. Buying a farm, packing up without warning, and leaving New York. And all in such a hurry.
I'm an impulsive, kid. That's how I married you, remember? I dated you blind, waltzed you around once, and boom, on an impulse, I hustled you to City Hall. I bought the farm the same way.
The way it happened, it's as if you were running away from something.
Running to something, kid. I'm tired of the creeps and the phonies and the crumbs. I'm tired of stale beer, cheap movies, and crowds. Okay, skip it. I'm thirsty. You want me to fetch you a drink?
No, thanks.
All right, I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, George! George!
Hey, what kids?
George!
Hey, you got the jitters.
There was a hand out there in the darkness, reaching toward me through the window.
Oh, kid, your imagination's gone crazy. You're overtired.
George, look.
What's that?
An envelope. Someone dropped it on my lap. It fell to the floor.
Give it to me.
What does it say?
A crank note. Some country idiot's playing black hand.
Let me read it. We don't like strangers in Lewiston, especially New Yorkers. Better be smart and read the train schedule back. There's a return train schedule attached to it.
Oh, you look as if you're already on that train back. You scare easy, huh?
How did anyone know we were coming?
Well, that's easy. The real estate man who sold me Rain Tree Farms no doubt stuck the item in the local papers. Ah, come on. Shrug it off as a crackpot practical joke.
A joke? You really want me to believe that someone drove 10 miles in the middle of the night to warn us off? Just to be funny? I'm laughing.
Lewiston! Lewiston!
Come on, Mary. Grab that other suitcase. Come on, step on it, kid.
Right, your step.
All right, easy does it. There we are.
It's so deserted, George.
Yeah, everybody's asleep.
Well, what'll we do?
Come on, we'll camp under that station shed. It's 9 miles out to Rain Tree Farms, and we'll need somebody to drive us there.
I may do that.
Oh.
Drive you out. Been waiting half the night for you.
Who are you?
Ben Myers. Lizzie's parked to the side of the chair.
You said you'd been waiting for me?
I did. I'm your neighbor. The shack's just around the bend from Rain Tree Farms. Thought you and the lady'd be glad not to spend the night in the weather.
Ah, we're glad, all right, but how did you know we were coming?
I read in the papers about the old place.
But why tonight? Why not last night or tomorrow? How did you know I was coming tonight?
I've been waiting last night. If you didn't come tonight, I'd watch you tomorrow. The time ain't worth a leaking bucket. You coming?
Yeah, sure. Come on, Mary.
Here's the Lizzie, son. Try to light my pipe and we'll be going. Bring your face to the light, son. I've seen you before, ain't I?
I don't think so.
You never been around Rain Tree Farms?
No, I've never seen the place.
Funny, you should buy it, then. Nobody's tried living in Rain Tree Farm now it's 2 years.
Why?
Some say that it's haunted. Some say there's a black curse in the house.
You keep asking questions, kid. He'll have you seeing ghosts coming out of the chimney.
Not ghosts, son, but corpses.
Corpses?
The last couple that tried living in Rain Tree Corners lay dead in the parlor floor. I seen them with my own eyes. Dead. Nobody ever found out what killed them. Another mile to Rain Tree Farms, folks.
Go on, kid. Grab yourself 40 winks.
I can't. I daren't close my eyes. George, what was that?
Stop the car. It was a bullet. Someone took a pot shot at me.
Missed you by inches.
Check. Almost a bullseye. Somebody's no slouch with a rifle. What's the angle on this, Myers?
Can't say. Except that shooting comes naturally to these parts. This is hunting country.
In the middle of the night, in the dark?
All night's light enough for shooting. Folks around here'd rather shoot than sleep.
I'm not swallowing that. Somebody tried to kill me.
That's a pretty big idea, son.
Yeah, well, the idea's even bigger. I figured maybe someone waited along that road in ambush and you fingered me. Maybe that's why you waited around all hours at the depot. You were to drive me to my murder.
There we are, folks. Raintree Farms. Ours is up that walk.
All right, hand me the luggage, Mary.
Yes. Thanks for the lift.
Your young man ain't thanking me. His head's busy turning with big ideas. Goodbye, son. I'll be coming around, maybe. With some more big ideas.
Look, if I ever see you around here, I'll shoot you full of holes on sight for trespassing.
George.
Yeah?
About that shot on the road coming here, why would anyone want to murder you? You're a stranger.
To keep me away from Raintree Farms, I guess.
Why, if you own it?
Why is a big letter, kid.
George, you're concealing something. Who are you?
George Stretch, your husband.
A stranger to me until 10 days ago. Who are you, really?
Oh, look, kid, you're letting some local crackpot give you the willies. Mary, a guy said something about for better or for worse just before I slipped a ring on your finger. Was it all a lot of idle talk?
No, George. I meant it deep down. I'm sorry.
That's more like it. What do you say we forget the spook stuff and hit the sack, huh? Coming?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, this joint sure needs a loving touch.
And a coat of paint.
Well, now to find the key. Wrong key. The real estate office mailed me 5 different keys.
George.
Now what?
Somebody's inside. I see him moving left.
Yeah. And footsteps coming to the door.
What are you after, mister?
Well, I was trying to get in. What's the shotgun for?
Protection? You need it, yeah. I've seen you somewhere before, haven't I?
No, you haven't. I've never been somewhere.
Who are you?
I'm George Stretch. This is my wife. We're the new owners. Who are you?
Parker. Willis Parker.
I mean, what are you doing here?
Squatting?
You broke in?
No. I moved in.
Just like that?
Uh-huh. Abandoned place. Loaded down with county tax warrants. I bought a tax warrant and I'm in.
I don't get it.
Squatter's right. Go see a lawyer.
You mean you won't get out?
That's right.
On what grounds?
Look, fella. Right now I've got possession of the premises. That's a big chunk of the law around here. And I'm not going to stand out here in the dark arguing it out with you. Now beat it, fella. And take your valises and the dame. You're trespassing.
Now, this is a trick to turn me back.
Throw arguing with you. Start moving. The next one goes right in your breadbasket, fella. And keep going.
Harry,
Yes, George.
head for the deep shadows and then drop to your knees and flatten out quick. I'm sick and tired of being shot at.
George, put that gun away.
Down, I said. I'm not heading back with my tail between my legs. Bullseye for me. Who was it that said this was a shooting country?
He's dead.
Oh, gee, I just meant to nick him.
You killed him in cold blood.
In self-defense, he was planning to tail us down the road and blow us to kingdom come.
George, you're making that up. Just as an afterthought.
Am I, kid? Who do you suppose took that shot at us driving up here? And that couple found mysteriously dead, the couple old Myers mentioned. Who do you suppose killed them?
I want the whole truth. Why were you marked for murder?
I said why was a big letter. You got to ditch Parker somewhere.
Did you?
Hide him to protect ourselves, then forget that it ever happened and go about our business.
You're not going to the police?
No, I'm going about my business, I said.
George, what are you afraid of?
You got me confused with the answer, man.
I've got to know or I'll lose my mind. Both Ben Myers and Parker thought they recognized you. You have been here before.
Never, I swear, never. They had me confused with somebody else. I'll play along my way for a while. My way is the only way, Mary. Any other way is no good. I'll get that kerosene lamp and follow along. I'm giving Parker squatter's rights to the first big ditch I find. He'll stay put now. Oh, come on, kid. Dry your eyes. You gotta take the breaks as they come and play along, for better or for worse.
For better or worse. Murder and burial. How far can we get together now?
As far as the house, anyhow. That's as far as I want to get. And I don't care how stiff the price is. You get it, Mary? I don't care. All right, now set the lamp on that table, Mary. And stop staring at me as if I were some kind of a man-eating monster. You're getting on my nerves.
I'm sorry, George.
All right, that's better. Look around you. What do you see?
The room is a wreck.
Check and double check. The paneling's ripped out. The floorboards are up. Someone started taking the fireplace apart brick by brick. My property buy doesn't look so good, huh?
George.
What?
What does it mean?
Vandals always have a field day with an abandoned property.
No, it means something else.
Check, kid. Parker holed up here looking for something.
And you're looking for something, too.
You're catching on, kid.
That's why we're in this forsaken country. That's why you were marked for murder. What are you looking for, George?
A couple of things. One of them's a stiff. A fresh-faced kid who called himself Johnny Morrow came out here about 2 years ago. He was never seen again. Alive. And you know why, Mary?
Why?
Because he's still here. My kid brother never left this house. Alive or dead. Whoever bricked up this fireplace bricked it up to keep.
George, if you find your brother, what then?
Then I go right for item number 2. The jackpot.
The jackpot?
Do-re-mi, cash. Money piled as high as the Empire State. We parlay the corpse into a fortune. That does it. The hole's big enough to drive a truck through. Bring that lamp over. Closer. Closer, you dummy.
Yes, George.
See what I see? Walled in as if he was part of the building layout. Meet your brother-in-law, Mary. All right. Help me drag him out.
Yes, George.
Set him down over here. When he was a kid, he always came running to me when he got into a jam. There was a year's difference, but we were lookalikes.
That's why the old man and Parker thought they'd seen you before.
Check. They'd seen Johnny.
Who killed your brother?
His partner, a hoodlum named Wiley. Johnny and Wiley had pulled a payroll stick-up, a $50,000 job. Wiley tried to double-cross Johnny. Johnny holed up here with the payroll money. Wiley trailed Johnny out here, tortured him for weeks, and then killed him.
Why did Wiley torture Johnny?
To find out where Johnny had stashed the money. But Johnny never told him. Johnny knew his goose was cooked anyway.
How did you find out these things?
Johnny smuggled a letter out addressed to me through old Ben Myers. The letter said nothing, but said a lot. Small talk, everyday brother stuff. Wrapped around 2 key words. The words were, search me. As kids, we used to play treasure hunt with maps we made up and sewed in the lining of our clothes. $1 gets you 1,000 that Johnny has a map sewn in his clothes. Now you don't have to ask why anymore, kid. But what?
Who was Parker, the man we found here?
A crook who hung around with Wiley.
And all the time that's elapsed, why didn't you come here sooner?
I was busy looking for Wiley for 2 years, across the country and back again, in South America, Mexico. Wiley was always one jump ahead of me. I caught up with him a month ago in Tampico.
You caught up with him? Well, what did you do?
I gave him a dose of what he gave Johnny. And then I killed him. You'd have lost $1 bet, kid. Same trick we had as kids. Yeah, a map inside his coat lining.
You can read it?
Sure, like the ABC. The dough is buried in a can 5 steps from the back door to the barn. The dough is practically in my hand.
George, you'll have to give the money back.
Back? Huh? And give myself up with it, huh?
Yes, if you can find the courage.
And tell Johnny he died like a chump for nothing. And tell myself I was just a sentimental sap dogging it after Wiley right into Tampico. And maybe get down on my knees in front of that ditch out there and apologize to Parker if I haven't put a slug in him.
Out of your mind.
Out of my mind if I listen to you. I'll lend a hand. Grab Parker's shotgun and watch for intruders while I dig that can up. And then I'll bury Johnny right on the same spot. Yeah, I'll bury Johnny right where he stashed those 50 G's for his big brother to come and get. That clink is the jackpot. Like music, eh, Mary? Listen to it. Now, look. You see the money, Mary? Green as grass, just as I dreamed of it for 2 years. Just as Johnny and I dreamed of it as kids. Green money, green as grass. And nothing under 100. You ever see a bankroll with nothing under 100 before, Mary? Did you?
No, George. Just as I can recollect, I neither, son.
What?
I seen small change. $5 bill once. I never seen 100 before.
What are you doing here, Ben?
Rejoicing with you, son. I've been waiting and watching a long time for one of you to find that money. But I knew it was hid somewhere around here. And I'm an old man. There ain't much time for me to enjoy my share.
How much is your share?
I was calculating on a quarter, maybe. But I saw you put Parker away. Right now I'm calculating on, say, half.
And what are you calculating on doing with half?
I don't know, for sure. Treat myself to something good. Maybe buy myself some more land. What do you say, son?
You made yourself a deal, Pop. I'm going to give you all the land you need.
You're aiming to kill me.
George, no!
I got to, Mary. I'm not killing you, old man. When you came visiting just now, you committed suicide. Get up against that tree and turn around.
Maybe if I go back to calculating the quarter?
I said you committed suicide. I'll bury you with $100 bill in your hand so you can treat yourself to something good where you're going. Ready?
I said you was a winner, son. Guess I'm a loser.
So long, sucker. Oh. Mary, you fool, you shot me.
I had to do it, George. I had to save you from yourself.
You silly fool. I was going to make you a queen.
No, George. It wouldn't have been that way. After then, you would have had to kill me. You see, no power on earth would make me go your way. And no power on earth would make you go mine.
You saved my life, Mom. How can an old idiot ever thank you?
By going to the police. My husband has a confession to make.
Oh, Poor Mary. It got so she couldn't see the trees for the bodies. You know, until tonight I thought only Santa Claus came through the fireplace. Well, I guess everybody's doubling up everywhere nowadays. Like George. Mary's bullets left him doubled up. Still, that was a good choice of location. The fireplace for a corpse. Sort of, how to keep from growing cold.
Good evening, Evans. Evening, sir. Dinner is served, Mr. Kessler. Thank you. Good evening, my dear. You're more beautiful than ever this evening. Mrs. Kessler first, Evans.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Evans, how's Dad taking it?
All right, Miss Virginia. They're having dinner.
I'll answer it.
Hello, Virginia.
I told you not to come here this evening, Ralph.
Why? Didn't you want to see me?
Well, it isn't that I didn't want to see you.
You're certainly acting strange, darling. What's all the mystery about?
Let's go into the library.
You see, Ralph,
Ralph!
After dinner, we are taking a long walk.
I'd like to speak to you, Ralph.
What's come over your father, Virginia? Is that why you didn't want me here tonight?
Yes.
It stopped me cold. I'm sorry if I accidentally stumbled on something you didn't want me to know.
Well, it must seem weird to someone who's never seen it before. It happens once a year.
You always appeared perfectly rational to me.
Well, there's something I must tell you. It's about my mother.
I don't understand.
Well, it happened several years ago. My father and mother were apparently as happy as two people could be. He worshipped her.
Another man?
The usual best friend. It almost broke my father's heart. He seems reconciled, but he never forgets their wedding anniversary and celebrates it that way.
Guess he isn't the only one who resorts to make-believe, but it does give one an uncanny feeling.
It doesn't frighten me anymore. Now that you know.
I love you.
You wanted your coat, Miss Kessler? Oh, yes, thank you. I was going to take a drive. It's such a beautiful night. Come along?
Yes, of course.
Sure you don't mind going?
No, I'd love it.
We'll be back in an hour, Cecile. Yes, miss.
That's a nice young man of Miss Virginia's.
I guess so. If he wasn't, Miss Virginia wouldn't bother with him.
Does she plan to marry him?
I never discuss things that aren't my business. If you want to stay here, I suggest you don't be so curious.
Well, just the same, I think this is a crazy house. And what about those murders? Jules here says there's been a lot of them. And nobody's ever been able to find out who did the killings.
You talk too much, Jules.
But I only said that...
Excuse me, Mr. Seal. Come, I'll show you where we keep our linens.
Mrs. Kessler. Oh, Mrs. Kessler, I brought you your dinner. Oh, please, Mrs. Kessler, I gotta go home.
Home? I want to go home, too.
Oh, but you are home. And as soon as you feel better, I'm going to take you to your husband and daughter.
But they never write to me.
Oh, but they don't know where you are, Mrs. Kessler. Nobody knows that but me. You see, I found
I'm
you.
running away. We're running away in a car. We're going faster, faster, faster. We're gonna crash. We're gonna crash. I can't go home now. Can I?
Mrs. Kessler, please. Please eat your dinner. I've got to go home. I'll be back in the morning. Good night, Mrs. Kessler. Good night.
You're late again, Jules.
I'm sorry, Mama. But I just couldn't get away from her.
Jules, why don't you tell Mr. Kessler about his wife, that you're hiding her?
Oh, I haven't got the heart, Mama. It would kill him if he saw her the way she is.
Poor thing. She'd be better off if she died with that man when that car was wrecked.
I guess so.
Jules, I've been thinking. Maybe she had something to do with all these horrible murders.
Oh, she wouldn't hurt nobody. She's like a child. She's still dazed from the accident, you know, amnesia. But she'll be better soon. Then I'll take her home. But if they found out I'd been hiding her, they might think I had something to do with the murder.
Jules, you must tell Mr. Kessler.
Oh, no, Mama. We must never tell anyone. Never.
sure you won't come in?
No, thanks, darling. I think I better run along.
Good night, Ralph.
Oh, Virginia, shall I put your car away?
No, thanks. Evans will take care of it.
All right. Night.
Good evening, Miss Virginia.
Will you please put my car in the garage when you have a moment?
Yes, miss.
Hello, Casanova.
Have you gone crazy?
The only chance I had to see you. You ignored my letters and my telephone calls. Did you think that you could get rid of me as easy as all that?
Be quiet. They'll hear you.
You bet they will. And you're going to listen to me, too. I'm not giving up to that Kessler girl or anybody else.
But this is different, Cecile. I never said I loved you.
Are you in love with her?
Yes.
Well, you're not marrying her, understand?
Nothing's going to stand in the way of my happiness. Not even you.
Don't threaten me. She'll have to know about us sooner or later. And besides, I'll make you a good wife, Ralph. I promise I will. Guess what?
What?
I'm in love.
Ralph?
Yes, Dad.
He's a fine boy. I am so happy for you, my dear.
Oh, he hasn't asked me to marry him yet, but he will. I know he will. Good night, my pet.
Well, that's it.
Good night, Evans.
Good night, Miss Virginia. Can I do anything for you, sir, before I retire? What happened to your hand, Evans? Oh, nothing, sir. I hurt it when I was putting Miss Virginia's car in the garage. Put anything on it? Oh, the bandage. Oh, you may have an infection. How's that? Just like new, sir. I guess I'll eat for a while. Good night, Evans. Good night, sir. Oh, yes, Evans. Thank you for the dinner. Yes, sir.
I'm afraid to come home. You'd kill me. You'd kill anybody.
Exercise number 1. Stand erect. Arms at the side. At the count of 1, close hands.
Cecile!
The fists on the chest. At the count of 2, put arms straight to the head. At the count of 3, lower arms sideways.
If it's exercise you want, there's plenty of it in the kitchen.
At the count of 4, lower the arms to standing position.
Cecile!
Stand straight. Arms at side. Ready. Begin. 1, up, down. 1, up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, up, down. 1, 2.
Mr. Kessler. Yes? Something terrible has happened. I tried to wake the new maid. I think she's dead. Dead? How did it happen? I don't know, sir. I thought she was taking her exercises. Call the police. I'll see what I can do. Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Kessler, we're up to our ears in another one. The girl was killed the same way as the chauffeur 6 months ago. The only thing we could find was this note left by some fellow who wanted to give her the air.
It's terrible, Lieutenant. She was so young.
If we could find out who killed Cecile, we have the one who committed all the other murders.
That's easier said than done. There's never been fingerprints, to say nothing of motives. What gets me, Mr. Kessler, is why you refuse to move out of this place.
Sentimental reasons.
There's nothing very sentimental about a house where anything could happen and usually does.
My mother lived here, Lieutenant.
Oh, I see. You're the gardener?
Yes, but I wasn't here. I went home early. You see, I live with my wife.
All right. And please don't try to see me. Signed Ralph.
Ralph?
Do you know him?
Oh, I'm certain I don't. Well, the name startled me. I'm practically engaged to a Ralph.
Did you notice anything unusual last night, Evans?
Well, maybe I'd better not say.
Let's have it, Evans.
When I was putting the roaster in the garage, I saw Cecile talk to Mr. Dixon. That's Miss Virginia's wife.
Go on.
I didn't mean to listen, but they were talking loud. Then I heard him say that he never loved her. And she said she wasn't going to let him marry anyone else. That made him real mad. And said nothing was going to stand between him and his happiness. Not even her.
I knew Cecile a couple of years. She offered me the companionship I needed. Then I met you and fell in love for the first time.
I love you too, Ralph.
Surely you can account for your activities from the time you left our house until the next morning.
No, Mr. Kessler. I had a lot to think about. I took a long ride into the country, didn't stop anywhere, and didn't see a soul I knew.
It's most unfortunate.
All I know is that I didn't kill her.
There isn't any doubt about that in our minds. Don't worry, son. We do everything we possibly can.
Order. Order in the courtroom. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, I managed the apartments where Ralph Dixon lived. Miss Mannix came there often. As a matter of fact, I thought they were married.
I went home early and helped my wife with the house cleaning.
The coroner's testimony should convince you that the defendant had sufficient reason for wanting to be rid of the victim.
It's the truth. Said he would let nothing stand in the way of his happiness. Not even her.
We're doing everything we possibly can. Tomorrow we're going to see the governor. And I'm sure something can be done.
But, Governor, the man is innocent. If you would only grant a stay of execution.
If you knew him, you'd realize he couldn't possibly be a murderer.
I'm sorry,
I've gone over the facts in the case, and unless you can present some new evidence, there's nothing I can do.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Yes? I see. It's all over.
My name is Dixon.
Yes. Of course.
I'd like to see Mr. Kessler.
He's in there.
I hope I'm not intruding.
Oh, Ralph.
It can't be.
Apparently my brother never told you about me.
Come in.
I've been in South America. I flew here at once. However, I'm afraid it's too late to do any good.
So you're Ralph's brother. Oh, you about you, but I never expected such a striking resemblance.
Sorry to have startled you.
This is my daughter, Virginia.
How do you do?
Won't you join us?
I've had my dinner, thanks, but I would like to talk to you.
Do I look pale?
No.
Huh? I feel pale.
The buzz, Evans. What's the matter, you deef?
Did he have a good attorney?
Oh, one of the very best. He's handled all of Dad's legal affairs for years.
Evans, Mr. Dixon will have coffee with us.
Oh, I'm Ralph Dixon's brother.
Well, you sure had me going for a minute. But you do look like poor Mr. Ralph. Coffee. Yes, sir.
I realize how incriminating circumstantial evidence can be, but it's never brought home to me like this before.
We did everything we possibly could. You know that Ralph and my daughter were quite serious about each other.
Yes, he told me in his last letter.
Sit down. How long do you plan to stay in this country?
Haven't decided yet, Mr. Kessler, but I would like to find out who killed that girl.
It's something I would like to know, too. Please consider this your home while you're here. If there's anything I can do, don't hesitate.
Oh, thank you.
I see that your room is put in order.
Sure I'm not troubling you?
No, not at all. Entertain Paul till I come back. Paul!
Yes?
I show you to your room.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I almost forgot. I must see Evans about breakfast.
Oh, good night, Virginia.
Good night, Paul. Good night, Dad.
Come in. I hope you'll be comfortable. I sent for your luggage in the morning.
It's awfully nice of you, Mr. Kessler. Really, I hope
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I guess I'll turn in. I haven't had much sleep the last couple of nights.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Hello, operator. Give me the police department. No. The body has not been touched. Yes. All right.
Good morning, Evans.
Good morning, Mr. Kessler.
What's the matter?
The gardener, sir.
What?
He's been murdered.
Murdered?
Strangled. Well, here we go again. How long do you work for you?
Oh, about 3 years, I guess.
Ever say anything to you about having any enemies?
No, sir.
Were you home last night?
Yes, Lieutenant.
To your knowledge, did anybody come in or go out of the house during the course of the evening?
We have a house guest.
Why isn't he here?
I'll get him.
Oh, don't trouble yourself, Mr. Kessler. Where is he?
He's upstairs in his bedroom.
Let's have a look at him, Ryan.
Good morning.
You want it in the kitchen.
In the kitchen?
Yeah.
am I seeing things?
He's Ralph's brother.
Why, he's the image of him.
How did this happen?
That's what we'd like to find out.
He was strangled, Paul. Would you mind if we go into the library?
No, that's all right. Better wait here for the coroner, Ryan. Not you, Evans.
Hey, where were you on the night of January the 13th? Have you had your coffee yet?
No. Well, I guess that's that. No clues, no fingerprints, no motive, nothing.
But surely if a man was choked to death, there would be imprints on his throat.
There weren't any on the Mannix girl.
Then they were killed the same way. Is that right?
That doesn't prove a thing, Dixon. All the others got it, and always the same way.
The coroner's here.
Okay. We'll be right back.
What does he mean by the others?
Just that. Others have been killed here.
Why in the world do you stay in this place?
We can't leave.
Oh, Evans.
Your luggage, sir. I'll put them in your room.
What about these other murders?
I'll put your luggage in your room, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Yeah?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Uh-huh. There'll be a change anyhow. What's bothering you?
As a rule, I'm not a very curious person, but,
I was beginning to get you, huh?
in a way, yes. What about these other murders?
Well, there's been quite a lot of them, Dixon. Some of the best brains in the department have tried to solve them. But we always run up against a stone wall.
Were the other murders brought out in my brother's trial?
That was different. That was a cut-and-dried case.
Why haven't the police closed the house?
Oh, we tried to, but Mr. Kessler took it to court. Carries a lot of weight around here. Does a lot of good, too.
You think he'd want to leave?
I guess he's waiting for his wife to come back. She left him several years ago. An awful scandal at the time. Front-page stuff and all that.
Poor devil. He didn't have a chance.
Well, I guess I'll be running along. Glad I met you, Dixon.
Good day, Lieutenant. Well, this isn't a very pleasant way to entertain a guest.
You know, Mr. Kessler, I have a feeling that somehow or other these mysterious murders are going to be cleared up, and quickly, too.
Nothing would please me more.
Oh, your wife?
Yes.
She's beautiful.
I rarely talk about her, but I think about her constantly.
She has eyes like Virginia.
Her hair, her skin, they were the loveliest I've ever seen. I hope you have the pleasure of meeting her. She'll be back someday.
Hello there.
Paul was admiring your mother's picture.
Father's a sentimentalist.
He has every right to be.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes? Just a moment, please. It's for you, Dad.
Thank you. Yes? Yes, I guess I can. Yes. Oh, in about 20 minutes, I'd say. Surely. Goodbye. I'll see you children later. Business. Sorry. That's the only information I can give you, Mr. Kirby. Have you notified his wife?
Yes, Mr. Kessler. Poor thing, she took it quite hard.
It's terrible. Awful.
I want to see the coroner.
Yes?
I'm Jules' wife. Where is it taken?
In there, Mrs. Mason.
If you please, sir. May I have one moment alone with him? I won't ever see him again.
Well, yes, I guess so.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Mason. Mrs. Mason. You'd better take her out, Mr. Kirby.
He's alive.
What?
He's alive. I saw him move.
I'll get the hospital. You'll be all right, Mrs. Mason. Steady now.
Get him out of here. He's not dead.
The doctor will be here any minute.
Jules.
Please, Mrs. Mason. Jules, listen to me. Did you recognize the man who tried to kill you? It was ghastly. I don't believe I was ever more startled in my life than when Mrs. Mason screamed.
It must have been a terrific shock to see him come back to life.
Yes, it was. Just a few moments longer, and I would have known who the assailant was.
I don't like to bring up the subject, Mr. Kessler, but these murders, did they ever happen in the daytime?
No, I don't believe so.
I see.
You evidently have some reason for asking.
Not particularly. I was just curious about that one point.
Yes, sorry dinner is late tonight, sir. But the new cook is having quite a time getting started.
That's all right.
Evans been with you long?
Over 7 years.
Everything's gone wrong today. Now I burned the roast.
Oh, don't get so flustered. You'll be all right.
I was so anxious to make good, I want to stay. Where's that mixing spoon?
Here it is. Right in front of you.
Thanks. I like it here. It's nice. Everything's so quiet and peaceful, like.
Ever read the newspapers?
No, they're just full of trash and murders and stuff.
What you don't know, well, it's all right. Here's your pepper salt.
Thanks.
Well, Paul, I'm afraid you have me cornered.
You still have a couple of moves, Mr. Kessler.
You've met your equal, Dad.
Oh, your father just got himself into a bad position.
You're going to be a storm. It's your game, Paul.
Want to play another?
No, thank you. Not tonight. It's getting late.
Pardon me, sir.
Yes?
May I speak to you a moment, please?
Oh, yes, certainly.
The cook wants to leave. I thought you should know.
Why? She just came.
She feels as if her work is unsatisfactory. She had so much trouble with dinner tonight.
Why, that's ridiculous. Oh, I understand. It's her first day. I'll speak to her.
I'll say good night, Mr. Kessler. Think I'll turn in. Thanks for the game.
Good night, Paul.
Good night, Dad.
Good night, Charlie.
I'll walk up with you, Paul.
Oh, glad to have your company. It's a long, lonesome climb up those stairs all alone.
Where are you going, Marie? You can't leave us after cooking such an elegant dinner.
Did you really like it, Mr. Kessler?
Why, I never tasted anything to equal that roast beef. Besides, you can't go now. It's going to rain in a minute.
Are you sure you want me to stay?
Oh, certainly, Marie.
Well, I like it here, but I thought...
Oh, then it is settled.
Oh, wait till you taste my apple pie, Mr. Kessler.
Apple pie?
Mm-hmm.
My, that will be a treat.
Oh, let me take this. You might as well unpack your things,
Yes,
Marie.
sure. Thank you, sir.
Not at all, Marie. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Kessler. Oh, he's a wonderful man.
Now, let's see. What did I do wrong?
Mr. Kessler? Mr. Kessler, are you ill?
What?
Something wrong?
Hello, Paul. I must have walked in my sleep.
Well, you did better than I. I couldn't sleep at all.
It's raining. Why don't you go to bed, Paul? I'm all right.
Is there anything I can do?
Nothing, Paul. Thank you. I think I'll read for a while. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Kessler. Well, you look like you had a good night's sleep, Mr. Kessler.
I was so tired when I got to bed, I don't even remember climbing in.
Dad! Who would do a thing like that?
I wonder if anyone was hurt.
Nothing could have hurt my father more.
It's unquestionably the work of a madman.
You're right, Evans.
Yes, sir, Mr. Kessler. Good morning, sir. Where is the new cook? She said she'd go shopping first thing this morning. Have you looked in her room? No, sir. Something wrong, Mr. Kessler? There's a valise. She didn't leave.
I'm not worried about that. When did she tell you she's going to the market?
Last night before she went to bed.
Do you think there's any connection between this and what has happened before?
I don't know.
Have you been through the rest of the house yet?
No, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Kessler.
Oh, Marie. You have no idea how happy I am to see you.
Thank you. I wonder why he was so glad to see me.
Mr. Kessler thought you had been murdered.
Oh, he's so sweet. I'm going to start to make that apple pie. Murdered.
I can't imagine who would do a thing like that.
I'll get it.
Good morning, Miss Kessler.
Won't you come in?
Thank you.
That happened last night.
Didn't it fall?
No. Find me the person who did it and you've got your murderer.
Nobody came into this house last night. Ryan and his boys were stationed outside.
Lieutenant. Oh, Lieutenant.
It's Ryan.
Then you didn't hear any noises during the night?
No, but there's funny things going on around here.
Meaning what?
Well, it's happened 3 times now. I put food on the sink, left the room. When I come back, it was gone.
No. You ought to hire a detective to watch it.
That's what you get for being such an excellent cook.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Yeah? You got something?
I don't know. I found this in the picture.
Anybody else know about it?
No, I wanted to speak to you first.
Okay. I'll see if I can match it. Keep the others downstairs.
Why not?
I agree.
Is this yours, Mr. Kessler?
Yes. Why?
I thought I'd seen it on you. Found it in Evans's room.
Well, there's nothing strange about that.
There wouldn't be, Mr. Kessler, but it so happens that a thread from this robe was found embedded in the picture.
Surely you're not trying to accuse Evans.
Oh, it's incredible. You're just trying to make a case.
Well, somebody's been doing these killings. Ryan didn't die of heart failure. Don't forget that.
When did you give Evans that robe, Mr. Kessler?
I don't remember giving it to him at all. But naturally, when my things need mending, he just picks them up.
I don't care how he got it. He had it and he used it on that picture. I'm going to talk to him.
Just a minute, Lieutenant.
Yeah?
If Evans is the man we want, it strikes me you've got to have more evidence.
Now, everybody wants to be a detective.
Now, wait a minute. Perhaps Paul has some suggestion.
All right, go ahead. What is it?
Without doubt, the murderer is insane. The picture tells us that. I believe we should call in a psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist?
You've still got the robe. But before Evans is accused, I'm definitely in favor of giving him a sanity test. What do you say, Lieutenant?
Okay. Maybe I better take one myself. All we want to know is if the fellow's crazy.
That's very easy to determine. Shall we make the examination here?
If you don't mind, Doctor. Please tell Evans I want to see him and then go up to your room.
Go to my room.
Is it possible, Doctor, for a man to be normal, say, for 2 or 3 months at a time, then go completely insane for an hour or 2?
Yes, quite common.
This should be most interesting.
Now what?
The fuse must have blown.
I like the candles.
fuse burnt out, Miss Virginia.
Oh, thank you. My father wants to see you, Evans. He's in his room.
Yes, miss.
That'll have to do, gentlemen, until the lights are fixed.
I'll be in my room, Evans.
Yes, miss. I'm sorry, Mr. Kessler, but we ran out of fuses. I sent Marie over the store to get some more, sir.
That's all right, Evans. Sit down.
Pardon me, sir.
Oh, go ahead, Evans. Sit down. We want to talk to you.
All right, sit down.
Do you want to speak to me, sir?
This gentleman would like to ask you a few questions, Evans.
Yes, sir.
Do you know these men?
Yes, sir.
What's this gentleman's name?
Mr. Kessler. Mr. Charles Kessler, sir.
Would you say that Mr. Kessler is out of his mind?
I don't understand you.
Would you say that he is insane?
No, sir.
Well, young lady, what are you doing here?
You can't take it. You can't take it. It's mine, I tell you.
Okay, sister, it's yours.
Leave me alone. I'm going home. Home to my husband. And my daughter.
Of course you are, and we know where you live, too.
You do?
Sure.
But I'm dead, you understand? I'm dead.
Of course you are. I'll take you where you want to go. Now you just come with me, young lady.
Tell me, Evans, do you think this man is crazy?
Now, don't ask him that, Doc. I'm beginning to have doubts myself.
Please, Lieutenant.
Oh, all right, all right. Am I crazy?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I know that woman. She's wicked. She can't go home.
Yes. Yes, I know. She's bad. Now you come with me. There we are.
Ever see this before?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing with it last night?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
What we found.
Miss Kessler.
I'm dead, Charles. Do you hear me? I'm dead. I'm afraid to come home. You'd kill me. You'd kill anybody.
It's Kessler. Take her out, quickly.
Close that door.
Now you sit right there, and we'll see that you get home all right. What do you turn? Give me a hand, George. She's dead.
What happened here?
We've got the murderer.
Evans.
No, Mr. Kessler. You.
I knew you'd come back. Nothing can part us now, my darling.